Welcome to another detailed paranormal production. Today we offer you the paranormal details of the deeply enthralling Palm Sunday case. In 21st century popular culture, the communications received from the dead are presented to us by the media in rather unrealistic and uncomplicated terms. The spirit of a loved one speaks through a transmedium, followed by that spirit utilizing said medium to deliver a life-changing message from beyond the grave. It's as though the boundary between our two worlds is easily and cavalierly crossed. The Palm Sunday case offers no such inaccurate simplicity. This astounding true case is from the 1800s, in which communications from the spirits were distributed to multiple psychic mediums in different locations over a period of decades. Each bit of information provided by the spirits taken alone appeared obscure, at times almost trivial or even meaningless. Yet when assembled with care and scrutiny, they formed more coherent and deliberate meanings. The voice of a spirit and a sustained attempt at recognition. Details of the case. The case you are about to hear is authentic and verifiable, and commonly referred to as the Palm Sunday case, a particularly intricate chapter within a larger body of early paranormal research known as the Cross-Correspondences. It begins with the death of Lady Lyttelton on Palm Sunday in 1875, concluding in 1960 when the Society of Psychical Research published the full materials and proceedings. Unlike the more theatrical expressions of spiritualism and paranormal research that characterizes the late 19th and early 20th centuries, this investigation drew the attention of individuals who approached the subject of the paranormal with a markedly different intention. In 1882, an objective group of eminent scholars, philosophers and scientists established the Society for Psychical Research in London. The SPR still exists to this very day. The events of this case extend across several decades, beginning in the late 19th century and reaching a defining moment on Palm Sunday, March 31st, 1912. The SPR encountered a series of communications from the dead that resisted easy explanation. The origin of this case is the declaration from innovative spirits that they were conducting an experiment from their realm to the world of the living. The purpose of the experiment was to have members of the SPR utilize clues to deduce the names of the spirits' earthly identities. The spirits did this by sending clues in the form of lines of poetry and other literary allusions to various psychic mediums who were unaware of one another. The information gathered would only be understood when the various mediums were finally brought together with their puzzle clue answers. Details of the medium. At the center of the Palm Sunday communications was a medium named Winifred Coombe Tennant, who conducted her psychic work under the pseudonym Mrs. Willett. She was but one participant in the spirit's experiment within a broader network of mediums, each receiving fragments of material or clues that alone revealed a small piece of the puzzle. The various clues given to the different mediums was awaiting analysis by the SPR to hopefully guess the identities of the spirits who created the experiment. Details of the method. Cross-correspondence. This method of communication came to be known as cross-correspondence. Rather than delivering a complete message through a single intermediary medium, the spirit communicators distributed their thoughts across several mediums. A clue in the form of a line of verse would be sent by the spirits to a medium in one location. A classical reference clue in another to a different medium. A symbolic phrase clue elsewhere. Only when these clues were brought together did they begin to cohere. Upon completion, the mediums would be brought together with their puzzle answers and come to a conclusion as to the identity of the spirits. No single individual psychic medium possessed the full message. No single mind could readily construct the entire answer. And yet that answer existed within the fragments of the literary puzzle. Details of the identity disclosure. Among the spirits believed to be communicating through these literary clues was Mary Lyttelton, a woman who had died in 1875. The communications attributed to her bore a distinctly personal character. They were not addressed to the public at large, nor framed as universal pronouncements. They were directed consistently and with clear intention toward one man, Arthur Balfour, former Prime Minister, and, during her lifetime, someone with whom Mary Lyttelton had shared a close and deeply personal connection. Details of Palm Sunday. The moment. On the 31st of March, 1912, which fell on Palm Sunday, a particular communication sent by the spirits emerged through the medium Mrs. Willett. This clue distinguished itself from those that had preceded it. Where earlier messages had been fragmentary, this instance carried a greater degree of cohesion. Within the script were references to Palm Sunday itself, a detail of significance as it corresponded precisely with the day of Mary Lyttelton's death, several decades prior. The reference to Palm Sunday had a direct connection to Mary Lyttelton and was a clue from the spirits to her identity. A point of recognition between two individuals separated ostensibly by death. Details of the symbolism. Throughout the wider body of script clues, certain symbols recur with notable consistency. Foremost among them is the image of a candle. On the surface, it is an unremarkable object. Yet within the context of the Lyttelton circle, it held a more private significance, one not readily accessible to the general public. What this means is the candle had a personal meaning for those in the Lyttelton circle of friends. Therefore, it was an indication that candles were a reference to and clue to identifying Mary Lyttelton as one of the spirits. Accompanying this were repeated allusions to light, to continuity, and to presence. Details of the literary structure. The language of these communications was seldom plain. Instead, it drew heavily upon classical and literary sources. References appear to the works of Alfred Tennyson, Robert Browning, and Dante Alighieri. These were not casual quotations. They functioned as structural elements within the communication itself, a means by which meaning could be layered, concealed, and ultimately revealed through comparison. It is this complexity that has led some to regard the case not merely as an instance of confirmed spirit communication, but as a form of intellectual construction that demands careful interpretation. Details of the investigation. Members of the Society for Psychical Research approached these materials with notable caution. They catalogued the script clues given by the spirits for their identity experiment, cross-referenced their contents, and examined their temporal relationships. Among those involved was Eleanor Sidgwick, a figure whose background in mathematics informed a particularly methodical approach to the analysis of the spirits' identities. The process was cautious. It unfolded over years, with each new script clue sent by the spirits adding to a resolution, an answer to the spirit's identity. After careful analysis, through careful examination of the literary puzzle pieces, the identities of the spirits was determined. One of those spirits was Mary Lyttelton, who died in 1875 on Palm Sunday, and whose spiritual identity was inferred through repeated associations with that sacred day and other private symbolic references. Frederick W. H. Myers was also identified, who was recognized through literary puzzle pieces alluding to his intellectual poetic writing style. Further identified were Edmund Gurney and Henry Sidgwick. As such, the experiment conducted by the spirits was indeed a success. Reflection details. What, then, is one to make of such a case? A sustained attempt at communication from beyond death, constructed in such a way as to resist fabrication. For spirits to exert so much energy and effort to prove their existence to the living may mean that they're sending us a message of assurance. The experiment given to us by the spirits of the past were effective. They demonstrated at least two things. There is a life after this one, and the people who are living in that world are aware of those of us who are not. As time passed, interest in the cross-correspondence gradually diminished. The participants died, the session ceased, and the investigation came quietly to its end. What remains are the documents, fragments of text, interwoven references, and the fact, however one chooses to interpret it, that spirits sought with considerable effort to be identified, recognized, and to enlighten us that they are still extant. They exist, but in another dimension. One is left with the distinct impression that these communications point to a life and world beyond our own. It seems that this new world is only obtainable to us after we have confronted our adversaries in this one. And perhaps that new life and world possess a quality of gentleness and restraint not always evident in this one. And finally, here is the documented message the spirits wanted to convey to those of us whose souls are still wrapped within our physical body. That is, we do indeed continue our lives beyond death on this temporal plane of existence. There truly is a new life for those who have completed their journey in this rather harsh physical world. Please do like, subscribe, and visit Detailed Paranormal for all of the paranormal details.